Welcome to the STEM Pathways podcast, where we delve into the fascinating world of science, technology, engineering, and math. I'm your host, Rohan Sharma, a passionate explorer of all things STEM. Each episode, we bring you captivating stories, cutting edge research, and inspiring interviews with experts and enthusiasts who are pushing the boundaries of innovation. Whether you're a student, a professional, or just curious about how the world works, join us as we unlock the mysteries of the universe and explore the endless possibilities of STEM. Let's get started. Today I'll be interviewing Saloni Oswal, who holds a master's in electrical engineering from Georgia Tech. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm Saloni. I'm doing good. How have you been?
I'm doing good as well. Thanks for joining me on the podcast. So
Yeah,
to
of
get
course.
started, I wanted to ask what made you choose your major for your bachelor's?
Okay. So I think my path to electrical engineering is very convoluted. It wasn't like a straightforward path. So throughout like school, I liked science, but I never really like had a career in mind. Like, you know how people are like, oh, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer. I didn't really have I didn't have that sort of a vision. So when I got into engineering, it was mainly just like the circumstances. Like a lot of people around me were pursuing engineering, and I was like, you know what, this sounds cool. Let me just try this out. And I really liked chemistry, physics, like a lot. I did not like math though. So I was pretty uninformed, and I was like, oh, because I like chemistry, like chemical engineering makes the most sense. But no one told me that chemical engineering is not chemistry. But I was like, you know what? Let me just try out engineering. Now, the way engineering programs work in India, it's slightly different. So you basically give your list of preferences for your major, and based on your score, you're mapped to one of your preferences. So I just happened to be mapped to electronics. So that's how I ended up in electronics. But like throughout my first year of undergrad, I was still pretty like, oh, do I really want to do this? I don't even know what exactly is it. And in the first year of undergrad, regardless of your major, everyone does the same courses. So it's like in our second year, that's when you actually start taking up like core electronics courses. Now, the thing with electronics and instrumentation, which was my degree, is that it's really, really broad. It stems from like computer, like to the edge of computer networks, all the way to like device physics. So there's just so much that it's very overwhelming. And it's like undergrad can give you like a surface level of all the topics, but you don't really know like what exactly you don't really go in depth to a particular topic. So yeah, undergrad was like a little overwhelming. And then in the second year, I was like, you know what, I'm really struggling to see where all of this is going to be used in real life. So I'm not able to relate to what I'm studying. So it's not, it's not hitting the spot. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to like professors, talk to them about, okay, where is this going to be used in the industry? I want to do a project with you. So I pestered like professors. I was like, please tell me, like, where is this going to be used? Because it's really hard to like something if you don't like if you're not passionate about it. Like if you see it in some field that you're like, oh, like say you like gaming, and then you're like, oh, I can take up this course and make this game. There's like something to relate to. So that's how I started like approaching professors. And I got a better understanding of, okay, generally this is what I like. So that was like my path in undergrad.
Yeah. And during your undergrad, were there any specific courses that did stick out to you?
Yeah, I loved digital design, which was like, it was just very logical and fun. I love puzzles. It wasn't like, I hate math, like from the bottom of my heart. And digital design was just like simple, very intuitive for me. So I loved that. I loved circuit design. So, and I loved computer architecture. I just loved that entire area. And the reason I loved it was um, a lot of people around me, like a lot of people who did cool stuff around me or who were really passionate about projects or who did like extra things outside of coursework, they were mostly computer science students. And then I realized like most of their projects are very tangible. Like they'll be like, oh, I'm going to do this computer vision project where like you can see results. Like you can be like, oh, I have this thing which is going to detect whether this is a cat or not. It's just a simple example, but you see tangible results. But there was nothing like that for ECE, at least in my college. Like, fine, I'm working on a breadboard. I made a counter that counts from 1 to 10, but like, then what? And then I realized that I'm really passionate about, like, when I see the impact in the real world. So that's how, like, all these buzzwords, AI, ML, I was like, okay, it's all computer science. But when I started talking to more and more people and more professors, I realized that at the core of all of this, electronics is like the most important thing, because if you don't have hardware that is going to sustain the computationally heavy demands of all these new things that are going to happen, nothing's gonna improve. And no one was like really telling it, like that was not conveyed to students. Like no one was saying how important these courses are for you to make an impact in all of these cutting edge things. So I think digital design, computer architecture, VLSI, these three courses, these three courses and also the professors who taught these courses sort of helped me realize that, okay, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I really enjoy, and I'm going to start from here.
Yeah. So I'm going to come back to that in a minute once we get up to your master's. But what did you do after doing your undergrad?
Yeah, so the best part about my undergrad was this really cool thing. So my college offers this program where in the last year of your undergrad, you can choose a semester and you can either do research anywhere in the world, or you can choose like an industry internship, which the university allocates to you based on your performance, like based on your GPA. So I decided to go the research route, mainly because I realized, okay, I kind of like this particular area. I want to see what more is happening all over the world in this area. So I literally cold emailed like 50 to 60 professors all over the world. I was like, can you take me in for an internship, like research internships for 6 months? You don't even have to pay me. Like, I just want to come to your university. I'll figure out my visa. I'll figure out everything. Just let me work in your lab. So that's how I ended up in Stockholm. So I was in Stockholm for 6 months in KTH, and I worked with this professor who was working on really cool hardware for AI. And that's when that kind of solidified that, okay, now I've narrowed down, this is the area I want to work in. I 100% know that this is the field I want to work towards. But yeah, I think talking to people and actually doing research, even though, like, I don't know if it doesn't matter if you end up completing the project, not completing the project, it just like helped me really like give me that clarity, like, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to do next. And it also told me like also gave me like a reassurance whether I'm cut out for masters abroad or not. So
Yeah.
that was like the turning point of my career.
And then what was it like applying to master's programs abroad?
So luckily enough for me, in my undergrad alumni network is very strong. So I had really good mentorship. So I had a lot of seniors who had done this before, and they really helped like help me narrow down, like, okay, this college would be good for this area. And I worked like while doing my thesis, while doing research in Stockholm. That's when I was completing applications for masters. But yeah, I just had a lot of help. I love talking to people. So the more I spoke to people, the more I realized, like, okay, they're always willing to help. I would reach out to seniors on like LinkedIn, on like just ping them everywhere, and they were usually very helpful. So the process was much easier. And I also had really close friends who were going through the same process at the same time. So it was good to get like your statement of purpose and stuff reviewed by them. But yeah, basically it was a smooth sailing journey, I would say. It wasn't anything too bad.
Yeah. So what was it like doing your master's over at Georgia Tech?
I think it was amazing. That was I feel like undergrad is mainly for you to figure out what you want to do. And master's was like, okay, I know what I want to do. These are the courses I'm going to take. It was all very planned. I intentionally chose courses which would help me work on the field that I was interested in. Again, in Georgia Tech as well, like the seniors and everyone, like the professors, they are so helpful. Like you should just like tell everything you're going through, and they'll like give you a lot of clarity because they do know a lot more. And I think, yeah, Georgia Tech was an amazing experience. However, my second semester was when COVID happened. So for a year, I was working, everything was remote. So that did take away a little from the experience, but I think it was fine. Even then, like I realized how much um, like talking to someone or motivation or like, that inspiration is important. I was like, I'm going to be a TA even during my master's because I just love talking to people and telling them that I know STEM might seem like hard or like some courses because it's not conveyed where they're going to be used in real life might seem uninteresting, but I want to do everything in my power to make sure people don't go through what I did, where you just lose interest in something because you're not able to like visualize where it's going to go. So even throughout undergrad, I was like, I'm going to be a TA just to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Georgia Tech was a very positive experience. I think everything wise, the people you're surrounded by, the professors, the courses. And I also did an internship in my final year at Georgia Tech. I interned at Intel in the Compute Express Link team. Yeah.
And then wait, right before we get to that, I wanted to ask you, I asked like your whole point about wanting to know how what you're studying will be applied in the future. I know Georgia Tech has a VLSI course where you get to design a chip and then they literally get it manufactured for you. And then you get a
Yeah, that wasn't there during COVID.
But do you think courses like that are very important for undergrad and need to be adopted like more and more widely?
Yeah, I think undergrad is so important because if if a professor is not, or if a course is not able to convey its importance, it's very easy for people to stray away from the path and be like, oh my God, electronics is so boring. I'm going to go pursue like something non-tech, where they don't even know that something that they're passionate about can use this. Like, so I think courses like that really help, like having that additional application or like a project component really help students like either like it or like remove it completely by process of elimination. It should never be a what if. Like you should know, okay, I like this or I don't like this. And I think a lot of courses right now fail to do that for students, which is why like having a component like that can help give clarity.
Yeah. So back to your internship at Intel, what was that like?
Yeah, so I interned in this team called, which was an IP design team for Compute Express Link, and it basically tied my whole undergrad passion like back in a full circle. Where I was like, okay, I do want to work in hardware, which will help push tech in the direction that it's going in. So like hardware that will focus on like, okay, we need to make hardware that is able to keep up with the demands that are coming in. Like you have all of these chat GPT and stuff, but none of them will be able to run if you don't have hardware that can support that. So Compute Express Link is sort of like this interconnect which aids that process, which makes it all really fast to connect your processor with like an additional device. So my internship was really good because it was the first time I had worked ever. Like I'd never worked in the industry before that. The team was amazing. Like everyone was so passionate, and I felt like it was exactly like it was heading in the direction where the world is heading to. It didn't feel like, oh, why am I doing this? Like I was like, oh, this makes so much more sense. Like I know why I'm doing this. So it did give me a lot of clarity on like, okay, I do want to be in the industry. I probably don't want to do research right now. I want to be in the industry. I want to see where my work is going to be used. And that's what kept me driven.
Yeah. So after doing your internship, do you directly get hired then?
Yeah. Yeah.
And are you still doing the same work you did in your internship, or is it different?
No, it's slightly more different. So during my internship, I didn't get a chance to work that much on like the microarchitecture and the architecture part. So now I'm getting to do that. So that's exciting. That's something I've always wanted to do. Um, and it's also like all the coursework that I had learned is finally like, oh, I had learned this, and it's just so much fun to be like, everything makes sense now. So yeah, I'm working a little more in depth. I did not get a chance to do that during my internship.
Yeah. So for my last question, I wanted to ask if you have one piece of advice for someone who's still in high school or early in college wanting to follow a similar career path as you.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is like it's okay to not know what you want to do. It's very difficult. Um, but given how much access we have to information right now, you really need to like put in some effort either to talk to people to see what's going on in the industry. If you are passionate about something, figure out how it ties to STEM, because everything in this world is tied to STEM, is what I feel. So that's one thing. It can be daunting sometimes. So even if you don't like, even if you think you like something, say you decide to pursue it and it doesn't go well, I think that's important too, because it helps you eliminate, like it helps you remove some ideas out of your mind by the process of elimination. You're like, okay, this is something I don't want to pursue, and that is also a very good learning, because in the future you won't end up wasting your time trying to do it. So yeah, I would say just try talking to more people, reach out to like everyone's so accessible now that you can take advantage of it. Like if you have questions or if you genuinely want to learn about a particular topic, please do talk to people, because it really helped me, which is why I love this podcast. Like when you reached out to me with the idea, I was like, this is something that is going to help so many people, even if they don't like, even if the content is not directly related to them. Just the fact that they know there are people who you can reach out to who have gone through similar things is a very nice feeling. So yeah, just talk more to people, try to keep up, and don't hesitate to try anything new, because you have so much access now. Like you can literally learn anything from ChatGPT. Like the barriers to learning have lowered so much that everything is a lot less daunting now. So you should take advantage of that.
Yeah. All right then. Thank you for joining me on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.